Exclusive. King Charles' Christmas message to pay heartfelt tribute to greatest generation. The King is expected to reflect on the heroics of Britain's war veterans in his annual Christmas message this year, which he has chosen to record at Westminster Abbey. The King is expected to pay tribute to Britain's war veterans in his Christmas message. Ash reflects on the heroics of those who served in the Second World War. Marking the end of the year that commemorated the 80th anniversary of V-Day and VJ Day, it is anticipated that the monarch will once again herald the actions of our greatest generation. Second time in his reign, Charles has chosen to record his Christmas speech away from Buckingham Palace, in an effort to present a community feel, royal sources said. This year, the King decided to film the message at Westminster Abbey, the spiritual home of the royal family for more than 1,000 years. Since 1066, almost every English and later British monarch has been crowned at Westminster Abbey. It is also the site where the Prince and Princess of Wales were married in 2011, and where the Princess has for the past 5 years hosted her together at Christmas Carol concert, celebrating hundreds of community heroes for their efforts. It is the second time in his reign that Charles has chosen to record his Christmas speech away from a royal residence, the first being broadcast from the Fitzrovia Chapel in London, last year. In his address to the nation and the Commonwealth, broadcast at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day, the King is expected to once again reflect on community cohesion as a key theme. Since he acceded the throne in September 2022, the sovereign has structured his priorities around a set of guiding principles often referred to as the 4 Cs, specifically climate, community, culture and Commonwealth. Following his diagnosis with cancer in February 2024, a 5th CWA is added to his list of working priorities, in line with his public duties and patronages. Lifelong environmentalist Charles is also expected to discuss the urgent need to protect the natural planet, which has been a cornerstone of his life of public service. It is understood that King is set to reflect in the emotional commemorations across Britain, Europe and the Commonwealth earlier this year, marking 80 years since V-Day was declared on May 8, 1945 and VJ Day on August 15. A special program of commemorations over 4 days in May for VE Day 80 saw the King joined by his closest family for an historic moment on the Buckingham Palace balcony with a spectacular flypast to celebrate the anniversary of the end of the Second World War in Europe. The King heralded the service and sacrifice of the wartime generation, in a speech on the 80th anniversary of V-Day, echoing the words of his late grandfather, King George VI. In his own historic address to the nation, the monarch said, "While our greatest debt is owed to all those who paid the ultimate price, we should never forget how the war changed the lives of virtually everyone." The King and Queen Camilla were also joined by the Prince and Princess of Wales and future King Prince George, 12, for a special tea party for veterans and their families inside Buckingham Palace on the May 8 anniversary. As part of his continued efforts to build relationships with other religious faiths, the King is expected to reflect on his historic trip to the Vatican in October. Charles made history by becoming the first monarch to pray with the Pope in nearly 500 years, in a symbolic moment of unity for Anglicans and Roman Catholics across the world. The monarch is, however, not expected to discuss his ongoing health battles, having earlier this month announced that his cancer treatment schedule is being reduced in the new year, almost 2 years after his diagnosis. The King, 77, delivered a significant update about his cancer journey as part of the Channel 4 Stand Up to Cancer campaign on December 12, while stressing the importance of cancer screening programs. In the message, recorded in the morning room at Clarence House, the King revealed, "Early diagnosis quite simply saves lives. Now, I have heard this message repeatedly during my visits to cancer centers across the country. I know, too, what a difference it has made in my own case, enabling me to continue leading a full and active life, even while undergoing treatment. Today I am able to share with you the good news that thanks to early diagnosis, effective intervention and adherence to doctors' orders, my own schedule of cancer treatment can be reduced in the new year." This milestone is both a personal blessing and a testimony to the remarkable advances that have been made in cancer care in recent years. testimony that I hope may give encouragement to the 50% of us who will be diagnosed with the illness at some point in our lives. The King will welcome his closest family to his Sandringham home in Norfolk tomorrow, for the start of their festive celebrations. Together with the Queen, he will lead the royal family, including the Prince and Princess of Wales and their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, at the St. Mary Magdalene Church on Christmas Day, before retiring to host lunch. The King's disgraced brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, who he still lives with in Windsor, will not be joining the royal family for Christmas this year. The monarch in November stripped his brother of his remaining titles and honors, and Fergie of her Duchess of York title, due to their association with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew and Sarah are expected to spend a final Christmas at their shared Royal Lodge mansion on the Windsor estate before moving to separate homes next year. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan will also once again be absent from the royal family Christmas gathering. They are understood to be spending the holidays in California with their 2 children, Archie, 6 and Lilibet, 4. Exclusive. Inside Kate Middleton's loyal circle. From socialite designer to unlikely royal friend, Kate Middleton has built a close-knit circle of friends since her time at the University of St Andrews, many of whom are also part of the upper echelons of British society. She may be our future queen, but Kate is famously understated when it comes to her social life. Yet behind the scenes, she has an incredibly loyal group of close friends, many of whom she's known since childhood and the University of St Andrews. Kate has a very tight-knit circle, royal expert Katie Nicholses. She keeps it close and has a small group of female friends, many of whom are based in Norfolk. Some of her old-school friends have become lifelong friends, and she and William have a really strong support network that they absolutely trust. These include Hannah Carter and Amelia Jardine Patterson, who Kate befriended when boarding at Marlborough College. While Hannah is godparent to Prince Louis, interior designer Amelia is godmother to Prince George, and it's thought she helped Kate with fabric choices at their country bolthole, Anmer Hall. Both Kate and William have a solid friendship network in Norfolk, where they adore spending quality time with loved ones. Other local confidants include fashion designer Rosie Van Cutsum and her husband William, a duchy advisor and godfather to Prince George. Also nearby is Lady Laura Mead, whose husband James was one of William's best men at their wedding. Both families are closely entwined, with Laura acting as godmother to Louis, and James as godfather to Charlotte. Sophie Snuggs, née Carter, sister-in-law of Hannah Carter, is another Norfolk native and longtime friend. She's been skiing with the royals, and George and Charlotte acted as page boy and flower girl when she married husband Robert in 2018. Of course, friendship is more important never during challenging times, and Kate's inner circle were a staunch support during her illness. She has people around her who she can trust implicitly, and her friends have been incredibly loyal, adds Katie. She's really needed them, and they've been there for her. Behind the scenes, longtime nanny Maria Borallo and former stylist Natasha Archer are also confidants. Natasha worked for Kate for over a decade, during which time she's said to have become a loyal and devoted friend. She has supported Kate through royal tours, weddings, and was one of a few people to visit her in hospital after she gave birth to Prince George. But family also means the earth to Kate, and her parents and siblings play a vital role in her life. While Carol and Michael are hands-on grandparents, she also has an unbreakable bond with younger siblings Pippa and James. First and foremost, Kate is hugely close to her parents, her brother and her sister, says Katie Nichol. They are her absolute go-to, and they are always there for her. While Kate's family closely guard her privacy, James has talked openly about the depth of friendship between the trio, calling Kate his incredible sister. After her cancer diagnosis, he posted a childhood snapshot of the pair climbing together to Instagram, with the words, "Over the years, we have climbed many mountains together. As a family, we will climb this one with you too." Born just 20 months apart, Kate and Pippa are as much best friends as they are sisters. The pair shared a Chelsea flat after university and, during their 20s, were often spotted partying on nights out. Of course, Pippa then famously took a starring role on Katie's Big Day, when she provided invaluable support as her maid of honor. "We spend a lot of time together," Pippa has said. "We still do a lot together as a family. And I think that's really the heart for all of us, is having a really close family that we can sort of be normal with each other, treat each other normally. And that sort of kept us all, affixed to the ground. With 6 young children between them, the sisters see each other as often as their busy schedules allow." And, tellingly, it was Pippa who accompanied Kate to her memorable Wimbledon appearance in 2024, when she received a standing ovation. It was a big moment for the princess, for it was only the second time she had appeared in public since her cancer diagnosis earlier that year. Of course, Kate is incredibly fond of her extended family too. Princess Anne's daughter Zara Tindall might be William's first cousin, but the equestrian is also close to Kate. The pair are often snapped sharing a laugh at royal occasions, and Zara was the only royal to become a godparent to Prince George. Kate has also built strong bonds with Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, King Charles and Queen Camilla, who is said to have given her advice and guidance over the years. Touchingly, Camilla even gave the princess a gold charm bracelet engraved with C, the initial they both share. She also entrusted Kate, who is a talented photographer, to take the official photos to mark her 75th birthday in 2022. "She did really good pictures, she does it very naturally. We had a lot of fun," she later shared. Kate is absolutely loved by all members of the royal family, says Katie Nicholl. She has a lovely relationship with the Queen and is very close to the Duchess of Edinburgh. They spend a lot of time together in Norfolk, particularly during the festive season. But perhaps Kate's biggest ally is King Charles, who has referred to her as his beloved daughter-in-law. Not only are they both passionate about the great outdoors, but they've recently faced cancer together. "I think Kate's greatest supporter is the king," says Katie Nicholl. "He's incredibly fond of his daughter-in-law and loves her dearly. They now also share this special connection, because both of them have been through their own cancer journey. Now, as she looks to another year in the public eye and casts off the shadow of her illness, Kate will no doubt be drawing her allies even closer." And, as she said in a video for her Shaping US campaign, "Healthy, happy relationships are the foundation for all of us." Exclusive. Disgraced Andrew's lonely Christmas as resentful ex-prince shunned by royal family with King Charles hosting his royal relatives at Sandringham for Christmas. Disgraced younger brother Andrew is not expected to be anywhere in sight. King Charles is to host his relatives for one of the most magical times of the year, the annual royal Christmas celebrations. But in stark contrast, his shamed younger brother Andrew will have to contend with a very different festive season. Cast aside from his family, the former Duke of York has faced a turbulent 12 months that has seen him stripped of his titles and forced to give up his lavish royal lodge home after months of fighting to stay to go and live on the Sandringham estate. At the end of October, the king officially stripped his disgraced brother Andrew of his HRH style and his prince title, and removed his dukedom from the roll of the peerage over his serious lapses of judgment. The move followed the publication of a posthumous memoir by Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, and the U.S. government's release of documents from Epstein's estate. It emerged that Andrew had emailed Epstein in 2011 saying, "We're in this together," 3 months after he claimed he had broken all contact with the pedophile. Andrew denies all wrongdoing. While the royal family are heading to Sandringham for festivities in the coming days, Andrew will almost certainly not be among them. And according to royal expert Jenny Bond, this comes as no surprise. The former BBC royal correspondent told The Mirror, "I think it's obvious that Andrew's relationship with the rest of the royal family is, to say the least, extremely strained. You only have to look at the pictures of him trying to cozy up to William at the Duchess of Kent's funeral to understand just how awkward things are. William virtually blanked him. I think the rest of the royal family will be mightily relieved that he won't be there. It's not the first year that he has been unwelcome. Last year, he was asked to stay away because of his association with an alleged Chinese spy. It is, though, the most obvious and public sign that he's ostracized and an embarrassment to the family. And that must feel pretty unpleasant. It looks set to be rather a miserable time for the disgraced Mountbatten-Windsor. Crow's cheer at the Windsor mansion seems in short supply, as it has been claimed that for the first time in 20 years, the king's disgraced brother has not been felt up to decorating his home for the festive season. However, in the coming weeks, Andrew looks set to leave Royal Lodge for good after being forced to give up the lease. An old farmhouse on the estate has reportedly had renovations started in it to prepare it for Andrew to move in. The property, called Marsh Farm, is around 7 miles from the main Sandringham house, and it's said a no-fly zone over Sandringham has been extended to include the property. But not going with him is his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, who he has lived with at the Windsor mansion for many years. Fergie is said to be finding her own future accommodation, and Jenny says Christmas could highlight their family divisions, especially as their eldest daughter Princess Beatrice has reportedly decided to spend the festive season with friends abroad. She added, Royal Lodge is said to be in quite a state, and many of his possessions have already been removed. The status of his relationship with his ex-wife, Sarah, is also up for debate. They once seemed almost inseparable, even though they were divorced. But it looks as if the strain of the Epstein scandal may have caused them to rethink their future together. Christmas has a habit of heightening emotions and exacerbating family divisions, even though it's meant to be a season of goodwill. One thing is for sure. This is the last time Andrew will spend Christmas at Royal Lodge, if that's where he chooses to stay. It has been his family home for more than 20 years, and I'm sure he has many happy memories of family celebrations there. And that is bound to make him feel rather sad and probably resentful. As Andrew looks set to begin 2026 in a new home with a new life in Norfolk, he will no doubt be hoping for a scandal-free new year. But Jenny explained, there are still many more Epstein documents and emails to be released, but I suspect that the most damaging revelations about Andrew's friendship with him are already in the public arena. But the threat of more scandal around the corner will remain for some time. Not only about Epstein, but about Andrew's financial dealings and arrangements. It is not a story that investigative journalists are ready to let rest.